Welcome back here, everyone. Now, I'm not a big gamer, right? I do play video games from time to time. I haven't played in a little while, but I do play from time to time. I'm not really a big hardcore gamer. I start back playing from a just to, keep yourself fresh and all of that. But I'm not really a hardcore gamer. But I had heard about this Forspoken game that was supposed to come out. There was talk about how it was delayed at one point, but then was supposed to come out only for PlayStation 5 and I think on PC. But I believe that's about it. Some of the early reviews have not been all that positive in regards to the gameplay and all of that. But again, as I say, I'm not really a gamer, so I'm not really looking into that. What I do want to discuss is this article here from Polygon, where the reviewer talks about Forspoken. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff that they go through here and all of this. And let me just enjoy it. This article is written by Grayson Lawley. Hold on, let's see, Grayson Lawley. Okay, yeah. So that's why Grayson Lawley is here, writer, editor, gamer, as this stuff that he is known for. But let's get back to this because I want to, I'm not going to go through the whole thing that he's done. I want to go to one specific part and then I want to give some input on this. Now, this is the article. This is the part I want to talk about here, this paragraph. This is what he has to say. Before I wrap up, let's spare a word for Frey. Frey is the protagonist in this Forspoken thing. A notionally black protagonist who joins a growing trend in media of putting black people in worlds where race is inconsequential. That's incorrect. There's no growing trend for that. It should be a growing trend because that shouldn't necessarily be an issue at all. Your race shouldn't matter. But, there is no trend, but I'm just saying it should be. Continue on. Except the game is very insistent that Frey is a New Yorker, mysterious birth or no, spending her entire life up until this point growing up in our decidedly non-fantasy world where blackness is not a non-factor. Regrettably, Frey's identity is thinly written and awkwardly deployed as the story leans not only on stereotypical narratives but trauma as a plot device. So what this basically says, what he's basically saying in this part here is that it needs to focus more on Frey's blackness. That's basically it. The fact that this game doesn't emphasize the fact and have to constantly talk about how she's black and has to struggle and has to this and has to that, that is a problem. That's what this game should focus on heavily, according to him. And this is why I say a lot of time that these people, they may have up things saying that, they're writers and they're gamers or they're, whatever in this field or that field. But they're really just activists pushing some agenda that they don't seem to understand or care about. They would have you believe that there's some giant race agenda out there and unless you constantly talk about it, that becomes some sort of problem or you're somehow insulting people when you don't do it. As a black man, I can tell you this. When I walk out my door, I don't go outside and shout out to the world, I'm black, you have to respect me, you have to love me because I'm black. No, it doesn't happen. And if I could take a moment to just talk about how this affects something that I usually talk about, which is like comics and movies and TV series and these sort of things. If you look at the world of comics, for instance, you see it a lot with some of these characters. Okay, a lot of these characters that they supposedly introduce
or when they re-swap a character or something like that. It becomes all about their skin color. That's it. All about either their skin color or their sexuality or their gender. That is it. And it's so empty. Their character, you could barely even call them characters because they're empty. When you look at the way the comic book industry has evolved over time, a lot of people will say that, well, because these characters are black, they have more to prove, and they have more established white characters and all kind of thing. That doesn't make sense, because when you look at some of the more established comic book characters, you have your Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, X-Men, Avengers, Spider-Man. They didn't just start off fantastic. It took decades for some of them to even become recognizable. In case of X-Men, it took them like probably about 20 plus years before they could even somehow reach half the heights of where they are now. Well, not where they are now, because they're completely destroying them now, but I'm just saying, before they became like a household name. When a character is, when it's a white character, you have to focus on the character's overall development, because they don't have anything else to fall back on, like their race and the other, because no, they're not white people. They come in, if they have a lot of white characters in comics, they come in another white character. They had to back then, had to build these characters up. You had depth in the characters, you had interest in the characters, you had a life you had to craft with them to really draw your audience in. You don't get that anymore. All they come in and say is, listen, okay, this character is black, you have to love this character or else. This character is gay, you have to love this character or else. This character is trans, you have to love this character or else. They put nothing into these characters and they expect instant gratification. And here's this so-called writer who does a review for this game. And he has to slip in something about the blackness of this character not being front and center, because once this character is black, they have to be constantly persecuted for being black. They have to struggle for it. They have to catch the nene to do it. And I don't understand your reasoning behind that. Your race is a part of who you are. It does not define you as a person. You have to grow your characters. You have to grow who they are. You have to find ways to make them interesting to the people around them. If the game sucks, the game sucks. But you can't come out and say that, okay, well, because this game isn't focusing on the struggle of this free woman as a black character, that's a big red flag. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You could tell me in the comments. Maybe it's just me. But when I'm playing a video game, when I'm reading a comic, when I'm watching a movie, when I'm watching a TV series, I don't care to know about you having to shove this character's race, sexuality, whatever, in my face constantly. As long as it makes sense and it actually part of the story, that's it. If you're telling me that you have traditionally white characters and you just want to just put in black characters because it seems to me that it doesn't make sense to the story, because if you're telling a story set in a certain era, like for instance, not too long ago, somebody was trying to have an argument with me in the comments because they're telling me that in regards to Witcher Blood Origin, that because I pointed out that, the characters that you have black elves in there, which doesn't make sense in the type of story that they're telling. They're telling me that, well, perhaps I am just like those people who are reviewing it because it's woke, because why can't they be? I said, well, okay, the story is set in a certain period, was designed a certain way. You clearly did something different. You understand me? The so-called Netflix creators clearly did something different to introduce this into it. And it doesn't make sense. But you're telling me I'm supposed to love it because it takes this box. No. A character's race must not be the focal point of what it is they have to do. And this article written by this guy, gay name already, Grayson Morley, right? is saying that, this because Frey it is a notionally black protagonist who joins a growing trend in media of putting black people in worlds where race is inconsequential. That should be what they're aiming to do, but they're not. And then you turn around to say that, except the game is very insistent that Frey is in New York, a mysterious birth unknown, spending her entire life up until this point, growing up in a decidedly non-fantasy world where blackness is a non-factor. Regrettably, Frey's identity is thinly written and awkwardly deployed as the story leans not only on stereotypical narratives but trauma as a plot device. So, if we don't find in this game where she has to suffer and struggle and think because of her race, that's a problem for him. That's why I keep saying these people are activists. They are not actual true fans of anything, and you find them everywhere. You find them in the comic book, you find them in the end, you find them in TV series, in movies, everything, pushing these warped ideas that they have, because they believe in their mind they are fighting this battle, and the majority of them are some of the most racial people you would ever meet. But they don't see it that way. And here's this, and like I said, if the game sucks, it sucks. But race should not be a deciding factor when it comes to anything. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. Be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.